One of the three in the Range Rover owed Patsy Clark 300,000 from stolen cash from the Security Express robbery. He was with Eld's mate from working on the doors and doing a bit of minding. This cash was to be laid down until Clark got out. When he got out, they said the cash had gone missing. Clark didn't like this, so he asked Witheld to sort something out, as Clark don't like to be fucked. So Witheld had a word with Gail to see what he could sort out. Gail sorted out a drug deal for 4 kilos of cocaine. That comes to 132,000. Street value a lot more. Me, Bill and Witheld had a meet at a restaurant in Woodford that they use. Gail said, we can't rob them as there'll be comebacks. So Witheld said, we might as well take them out of the game. Gail said, let's just rob them. Gail said to me, Bill, do you want to earn 5 large ones for doing the driving? I said, yeah. He told me to pick up Witheld on the 5th, I think, of December at the Palms Motel at about 10:30. This I did. Witheld got in the car. He had Reebok trainers on and a tracksuit and a white roll neck jumper. He also had with him a black and gold head sports bag. Then we went to Upminster Bridge to meet Gail. Witheld got out and went round the back of the shops with Bill. About 5 minutes later, Witheld come back with a holdall and he gave me directions to the gate where I showed you yesterday. He got out, but before we went to the gate down the lane, we stopped at a pub car park in Battles for about quarter of an hour. This led us up to about 11:45. We left the pub, or just past the pub, in the same road as the pub. We went down the lane. Witheld got out to have a piss. I looked in the bag that was on the passenger's front floor. In it was a pump 12 gauge and a 14-shot fully auto Browning. Then he went away for about 20 minutes. Then he came back, got the holdall. Then at about 12:45, maybe a bit later, maybe 1, he was gone for about 30 minutes. In the meantime, I went down the lane, about 20 yards. I turned around. I did not see any houses, as I did when I took the police officers there. I think it was the right gate that Witheld came back over. Anyway, when he got in the car at Palms, he put his mobile phone on the dashboard of the Uno Turbo that I picked up from outside the Peacock's gym in Claxon Street, Silvertown Way. My car was an E-Reg, grey metallic in colour. The door was open and Gail told me that the keys would be above the sun visor, which they was. Also another thing, when Witheld got in at the Palms Motel, I noticed he was wearing surgical gloves, the type they wear in hospitals. I said to him, mind you don't put your dabs on anything, meaning fingerprints. His reply was, I don't intend to. When he told me to go to Upminster Bridge, I said, where the fuck is that? He showed me the way. The Peacock's gym belongs to Patsy Clark's #1 soldier, i.e. Witheld. He's all arranged the killing of a car showroom owner by the name of Tony Whitehead, who also fucked Clark for cash. They was to go and take some of his high performance cars, but Whitehead was there, so they took him as well. One thing led to another, and he had to be killed. Anyway, enough of that. Getting back to the late hours of the 5th and the early hours of the 6th, Tuesday and Wednesday morning. When we was driving in the Uno Turbo, we were talking about the good old days in Tenerife, when me and Witheld's mate used to sell speed out there. When we were driving, Witheld got a wrapper cover out, about a gram of cocaine, worth about £50 if he was to buy it on the street. He gave me a snort, and he had a snort, and he put it back in his tracksuit top pocket. As I said, when he got out down the lane to have a piss, I looked in the bag on the floor. As I said before, there was a sawn-off pump-action shotgun, about 18 inches long. The shotgun, I believe, was already in the bag when he got in at the Palms Motel on the A127, because when he opened the door, he threw it down on the floor with a thud. And I believe when he met Billy Gale, Gale gave him the Browning 14-shot auto. I don't know this for sure, but for him to meet Gale, he has to be picking something up. I've worked with Gale, and the Browning is his favourite tool, i.e. gun. We then left Gale and drove to Battles Bridge. Witheld didn't say too much, he seemed deep in thought. When we parked down near the pub, Witheld was just sitting there with his hands slotted inside each other. I said to him, give us a bit more cover, cocaine. He said he needed it, and that was that. I just sat there down the lane with Witheld sat next to me. Then Witheld got out the wrap of cocaine, snorted the lot from the wrap, and put it back in his pocket. As I said before, Witheld went away for about 20 minutes. He come back, he snorted the cocaine, picked up the black and gold head sports bag, and then left me sitting there. I didn't think much about the guns, because it's normal practice to take guns on drug meets, just in case one tries to have the other over, so I didn't think twice about it. I think he left me about 12:30, 12:45. come back about 30 minutes later, maybe a bit longer, I'm not too sure. With him he had the black and gold holdall and a rucksack about 12 inches by about 18 inches. The type you put over your arms with a bag at the back. He opened the door with his left hand because he had both bags in his right hand. He got in, both bags between his legs, and said, "Let's go." I left the lane, turned left and got to a big roundabout. Went round and come back on another road just before the next roundabout. I'd done a left up a one way. I was going up the wrong way, only for about 50 yards. Then I saw the main road to the right. I didn't take the main road, I carried on. I went under a bridge, I now know to be a railway bridge. I then went past the pub where we was about maybe 45 minutes earlier. I was travelling away from the pub, which is now on my right. We come to a little bridge. I went flying over it, and without shouted, "You should have give way there." I said, "Shut up, bruv, there wasn't fuck all coming." I was driving and didn't see the give way sign that was on the road. Thinking back, must have been there before to know there was a give way sign there, because I didn't see it, because it was a dark night. I went round to my left, and past the Proton Motor Company. Wavell told me to slow down a bit, so I was going about 50 to 60 miles per hour. He then got on his mobile, and his words were, "Bill, it's sorted. I've got the cover. See you at Morton's. That's a wine bar in South Woodford." Then he hung up, put the phone in the rucksack, not the head bag. We went to Woodford South. I stopped outside the wine bar at about 2 o'clock, I think. He got out, took the rucksack. Gal see us pull up. He come out, took the rucksack from Wavell and got in a green sort of coloured Rover, new shape. I believe the Rover belongs to Wavell's brother, Martin. Gail drove up beside me on my passenger side and down his electric window. He told me to take the car back to where I got it from and to leave the keys where I got them from, just above the visor. He told me to meet Wavell at Morton's wine bar at 10 o'clock the next night. I took the car back to the Peacock's gym and I left it just inside the forecourt next to a brick wall. I went out the next day. I didn't hear about the killings until early evening. I was on my toes all evening, i.e. looking over my back. I went to meet Wavell at the wine bar, got there about 9:45. He was there already. He got me a large Jack Daniels and Coke, told me to meet him in the toilet, give it half a minute, then follow him into the toilet cubicle. We had a snort of cocaine, then he pulled out a chunk of money and gave it to me. As he gave it to me, I said to him, "You cunt, you took him out of the game last night." He then looked at me with a smirky grin and said, "What are you, a cozzer?" i.e. policeman, asking questions. That meant don't ask questions, so I left it at that. When I took the car back, the head bag was still inside the car. The shotgun was still in it, but the handgun was gone. Must have been put in the rucksack with the cocaine and phone. In the last 2 weeks, I've been getting feedback from people saying Gail is going around saying I'm a grass. If certain people believe him, I'll end up dead and the witness out of the way. So I got in touch with the police and I'm making this statement of my own free will. I'm going to attend court and back this up. A police officer hasn't put any of these words into my head. I've written this statement of my own free will and will back it up in court. William Jasper, Tuesday, January the 16th, 1996. I must add to this statement that I did not know there was going to be 3 killings. I was there just to help a pal pick up some cocaine, namely 4 kilos of white powder, and driving back. I'm not silly, and I knew Wavell done the killings because he was the only one who was there that night, and I stayed in the car. I believe the car was put into a crusher, but I don't know what happened to the black and gold head bag with the shotgun in. So when Dean got out of the car to give Gail the rucksack, he was still wearing the surgical gloves. But as he was walking towards the wine bar, he took them off and put them in his tracksuit bottoms. Then a split second later, Gail pulled up beside the Uno Turbo that I was in and told me what to do with the car. I believe they would try and get rid of me, i.e. kill me, because I know too much. So I feel it's in my best interest to help the police. When news gets out that I'm in Essex police custody, the shit will hit the fan. Because we are talking about people that will shoot someone and think nothing of it. So I feel this is the best thing to do, i.e. give evidence against them, not to save myself from prison, but to save my own life. William Jasper, date of birth the 19th of the 3rd, 64, Wednesday, January the 17th, 1996. I must add to the statement that a police officer has not put any words into my head. They have not told me to say anything in this 12-page statement and have treated me fair. I, William George Jasper, have made this statement of my own free will. Wednesday the 17th of January, 1996.